Hi guys, and welcome back here to the Dev Realm, and today we're gonna carry on our series. And if you guys remember in the last episode, what we did is that we have set up our structure here to load the data and everything. And what we're gonna be doing here in this episode, we're gonna be changing our character mesh. So we're gonna create 3 events that will change those assets for us, and then we can use those APIs in here to do certain things. Right, so on what we're gonna do here, go back to your main, we're gonna open up our player, open up here our modular character, and we're gonna create here a couple of events. So let me just comment this to call change camera, right? I'm just gonna leave it this one here. Right, so we're gonna create a custom event, and we're gonna call API change. This time is gonna be the hair, and nice. So to change the hair or anything is really simple. You literally get your hair, and you're gonna set skeletal mesh asset. You're gonna put your asset in here like that, right? And then what you can do, just for testing purposes, we're gonna call this here, right? You're gonna assign a hair style for now. What is it? What is the hair modules? It's just called mesh A1 or something, right? So it's gonna put it in there, and now if we press play, our character should have a different hair. As you guys can see, already working. So if I comment that out, you know, goes back to normal. Great, so that works. So our thing here works. So change the character hair, right? Now we're gonna create three new more methods. So I'm gonna duplicate this, I'm gonna copy and paste just for speed purposes. I'm gonna call this API change torso, and the next one API change legs, right? And now we just need to set up the right one. In our case, torso, we're gonna put it in here. And the next one is, which one's legs? So legs mesh, there we go. Put it in there. Great. Right, so, well, what you guys can also, like, if you have a more complex character, sometimes, you know, there's some characters where you have to change the arm, the shoulder, the bones, and a lot of stuff. So you could probably create a specific method where you say change armor, and then we'll change all the armor appearance or something. Right, so I'm just gonna uncomment this and say change character mesh. Nice. Now what we're gonna do next is I'm gonna compile and save this. Now we need to access those methods from our widget, right? Right, so there's one thing here that we have to do in the widget that I forgot to do in the first videos. Let's go back to main, open up our widgets, character creation. Now I just want to make sure that when I open up my widget, I can get, so we're gonna just call player, wait, let me just double check, get home, owning player pawn, yeah, get controller, there you go. And let me just double check if that returns me the right name of my controller. Press play. Yeah, that does. Nice. So I was gonna create another variable and pass the player controller, but what we can do is that we can use this. In our case here, we don't want to use our player controller because there's nothing there. The logic will be done straight on the character. So what we're going to do here is that we're going to cast this to BP modular character, and we are going to set this as a reference, and we're going to save this, you know, player ref, and we can put it in there. In ideal world, what you probably want to do is that you want to call interface every time you want to do an action like this, but for, you know, just to keep our series short, let's just cast it. We have access to our player, and then you guys can implement, you know, can optimize this as we go after. Right, guys, so what we are going to do here is basically now we are going to change the parts selected when you're going up and going down, right? So to do this, we're gonna go back to our torso parts. We're gonna get our components. We're gonna bring torso, legs, and hair, right? So I'm gonna call a method something called bind event to, and then we have increase and decrease. So we're gonna get decrease. Same thing here, bind event to increase. Plug it in here, plug it in that. Great. Now we're just gonna do something like this, just for alignments purposes. Now we gotta do the same for those. Not sure if I'm just gonna call bind event to increase, bind event to decrease. Yeah, so this is the boring part of this, that you have to set up all those events. Otherwise they won't, run properly. But that's fine. Now let's just do the last one, which is bind event increase. If you guys want to make this a little bit more complex, what you could do is create an array of those references and then loop through those and call those events, and then you have some kind of a generic event handler that would do that for you. But that can get quite tricky, so we're just gonna do it in a simple way. Bind event to decrease. Great, nice. Now what we are going to do here is that we are gonna create a reusable method that we can call this so we don't have to keep repeating ourselves. So I am gonna go to this part of the folder, and I'm just gonna create a new enum in here. You don't have to do this, but I'm just gonna do this just so it's easier for us to follow. I'm gonna call E, and then I'm gonna call part type, something like that. Open up this, and in here we're gonna have a couple of parts. It's gonna be hair, torso, and we're gonna have legs, right? And I'm gonna show what I mean with this. Save that. Now we are going to create here a custom event. I'm going to call API. Change, let's say, change, no, decrease part, and you're going to have another one called API increase part. Great. Now we're gonna be calling the same methods for all of those, but I'm gonna just do it in actually that could be, yeah, so yeah, I think this is gonna be a little bit problematic, so I'm just gonna drop this whole idea here. I'm gonna do manual, and then we don't need to worry about this. Yeah, so now instead of called decrease part, and then we're going to put a part name, which is in this case going to be torso, right? And then in here is going to be torso as well. Great. And then you can connect those nodes, right? And there we go. Cool. So now just so for errors, I'm just going to uncomment this part, press compile, and nothing going to happen, but let's make it work now. So the way we can change this is that, for example, we need to get our torso options, right? And then we need to get our player current option, and then we need to bump that to 1 or remove that to 1, and then we know which one is the right option, right? So to do this, what we're gonna do here is that if we are decreasing the parts, we are just gonna first create a new category called parts, right? I'm just gonna move all that stuff here, and we're gonna create another variable called torso current option, right? Make sure that's an integer, duplicate that through times, and then we're gonna call hair, and then the last one is gonna be legs. legs. Nice. Compile and save. Right, so the decrease part, what we need to do to do the decrease is basically we're gonna get our current torso part, right? And we are going to subtract by 1, right? Now, what we are going to do here is we're gonna just create a branch. Sorry, we're gonna make sure that if is less or equal than 0. Let me just double check because bump. Yeah, so if it's less or equals than 0, right, you're gonna create a branch. And if that's true, we are going to set our value to 0. Otherwise, we're gonna set our value to whatever this is, right? Nice. Now we are gonna do that, and what we need to do here is we're gonna just do the same logic for the add, which is the one we can see the immediate result, and then after we go back to the decrease one. And then to the increase part of the torso, we're gonna copy and paste this here. We just need to change a couple of things, of course. So we're gonna increase by 1 because we're pressing that. So I'm gonna increase by 1. And if that's greater or equal, then we need to get our torso option, and we're gonna get the length. All right. If that's greater or equal than whatever is the length, then what we're gonna do here is that we are gonna get our current, what is it? Our current torso options. We're gonna get our length, and instead of putting these straight away, we just need to do a subtraction to 1, because the thing is that arrays, they work so they start from 0 instead of 1, right? And then we plug this here. Otherwise, it will be whatever is this value there, right? Now, I suppose that is good, right? Cool. And now let's double check if those values there are working. I'm just gonna do a printing here for now, and I'm gonna get our torso options. I'm gonna plug that value in there, and the same in here, right? I'm just gonna delete that for now. I'm gonna plug this value in there, compile and save. So let's check here. So if I press up, 1, 2, 3, 2, 0. So it's 0, 1, 2. So it's exactly what we want, right? It's just getting our array parts. Now, what we can do here is we are just gonna align this part here. Let's just give us some space, and we're gonna comment this saying this is the torso selection, right? Nice. And what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna copy this, paste it in here, right? And then I'm just gonna change this name to call API decrease hair, and then we're gonna call this API increase hair, right? And then we're just gonna change those values here. So instead of being torso, it is going to be hair. Put it in there, delete this. And then what we want to do is that we want to debug the hair for now. And when we want to actually set those values, we're just gonna put setting here. So it's gonna be, this part's gonna be like that, and this one's going to be something like this as well. And there you go. I know we could improve this, but I think for now you know, that will be just straightforward. It's easy to duplicate the code at this point. So I'm just gonna plug this one here. The same for the increase. And here is gonna change a little bit because instead of using torso, we need to use our hair, right? So we're gonna plug our hair there. Copy and paste this guy, put it in here, right? And the next one here is going to be the hair. So we're gonna plug this one here. Delete that. Great. Here is going to be again our hair. Plug it in that and plug it in here. And now we are going just to put the hair here as part of the debug. Yeah, they all sound good. So let's implement that, which is gonna be this part in here. Actually, it's the other one, but that's fine. We can always change the order. So we're gonna plug this one there. Cool. Plug event graph here. This one here as well. And let me just put those stuff like here. And we're gonna just call this hair select. Let's double check the hair works. The hair is the other way around. Right, I see. Is just gonna plug this one here and this one there. Cool. Actually, let's just make this a little bit more usable just by changing the location here. Cool. So now we should see the hair going up and down in value. Let's do the last one before we can finish this series. This episode. Copy this, paste it in here. Same thing. This time it's going to be called API change leg. API increase leg. And I just put the wrong name here. Instead of change, it needs to be decrease. Nice. Now we do the same thing. Get the value from there. Legs, we're just gonna put the leg in here. I know it's a little bit tedious, this part, but it is what it is. It is what we're gonna do that, right? So now we're gonna get our legs here, and we're just gonna print whatever is the value. Let me just organize this a little bit better. Create, and this one is actually the worst one, is the increase one, because there's more parts to change and all that. But yeah, just gonna put the legs here. Now we're gonna get our legs option here, which is good. Legs. Put this part here. Great. And now we are gonna get our legs, put it in there, and plug it in here. Great. Now let's just bring the other one that's missing, which is that guy, before we can wrap this video. Plug it in here. And now, is that the right one? Increase, yeah, that's the wrong side again. So don't worry about it. Let's just invert those sides. Plug it in here. And then we plug this one there. Yeah, let's double check. And let's also comment these and say, you know, like legs swap or something. Great. Press play. Legs up and down. But you have just two values. And yeah, I think that's looking pretty good. So yeah, guys, I know this got a little bit longer, but I think we got to a very nice point here. And then in the next episode, what we're going to do is to actually change our meshes. So once again, thank you very much for watching, and I see you guys in the next one.